And in our business stories, financing SMEs in the UAE at 4% of total lending remains significantly lower than international benchmarks, and more needs to be done to address the challenges. That's according to the speakers at the 6th UAE Conference on SMEs and Innovation. His Excellency Sultan bin Saeed Al Mansouri, the UAE Minister of Economy, and His Excellency Saqar bin Ghabbash, the UAE Minister of Labour, attended the opening ceremony of the one-day conference, where supporting SMEs was among the top discussions. With the UAE aiming to increase the contribution of SMEs to 70% towards the national GDP, speakers called for a cross-disciplinary approach and new ways of collaboration to increase the accessibility of SMEs to funding. According to the speakers, lack of appropriate collateral, high interest rates and lack of poor track record contribute towards more than 50% of SMEs being rejected by banks. With SMEs at present employing around 90% of the total workforce of the country, the UAE ministers stated that the government, through its SME law, is keen to promote SMEs in order to reduce unemployment and achieve economic diversification.
Our policy of diversification started from 1971. Since the country has been established, we had the vision of moving away from reliance on oil of 90% in 1971 to down to 30%. So, the agenda was how do we diversify more? And that's what we are doing right now. And that's why we look at innovation as one of the sectors that we have to focus on, due to the importance of the sector and the ability of the people to sustain this growth can not come from other sectors alone, it can also come from innovation. One is that we came up with the law, or the SME law, which is quite an important law. We have a council. We have within the law, there are some actually encouraging initiatives in there supporting the SMEs. So one of them is the financing through the Development Bank of the UAE, where they actually can provide up to 10% of their annual financing can go to the small and medium-sized enterprises. Another area is that 10% of the federal government purchasing, whether it is products or services, has to come from small and medium-sized enterprises.
Held under the theme Empowering SMEs through Innovation and Financing, experts added that such companies should ensure a vibrant innovation ecosystem in order to remain competitive. With unpaid debts a main concern for the UAE banks, organizations such as the Mohammed bin Rashid Establishment for SME Development continue to monitor the SMEs and offer guidance and recommendations in an effort to foster entrepreneurship. In addition, the Emirates Development Bank aims to ensure at least 10% of its annual lending is towards supporting SMEs.
Our mandate basically is to support the SMEs financially, and from an advocacy perspective. So SMEs basically, they can approach us directly, they'll get the right advice, they'll have properly, if they have their own business plans, we assist them, to develop their business plan, their feasibility study, their marketing plan, their distribution plan. So our role is basically to bridge this gap, let's say the difficulties they face, starting up their business or getting access to finance. We do our proper due diligence, prior to granting or financing any project. So we take our time with the entrepreneur, we especially when it comes to financing. So we do proper due diligence, we do proper credit analysis, and to just ensure, that this or any particular project will succeed.
As a bank, we are talking about Emirates Development Bank. It's the only owned bank. It has already, a capital of 10 billion. It has a huge potential. The bank is already agreed on, and it's one of its mandate that can finance up to 10% of its total loan book to those SMEs. So that means there's a huge opportunities for those SMEs to come and get this loan. But still, we need to mandate it in a proper way where they can, utilize it without having a risk on both sides, either on them or on the bank itself.
The job market in the Middle East region, including the UAE, has slowed down considerably as a result of falling oil prices and softening of Dubai's real estate market, according to new research. According to a local report, the latest Monster Employment Index, a monthly gauge of online job listings, dropped to 14% last month from 24% in September 2015, indicating that companies are not hiring as much as they used to. Across the region, organizations in the education industry posted the biggest decline in recruitment activity, with hiring growth dropping by 22% year-on-year. Oil and gas companies are likewise feeling the brunt, registering a 19% drop in demand for additional employees. Similar businesses in the UAE, however, incurred the most significant drop in hiring at 20%. A representative from Monster.com attributed the slump to weak oil prices and decline in property prices. Meanwhile, engineering, construction and real estate companies have registered a slight increase at 4%. Within the UAE, oil and gas businesses incurred the steepest decline at 20%, while those in the advertising, market research, public relations, media and entertainment, as well as banking, financial services and insurance, registered a slight increase in demand of 3%. The Board of Directors of the UAE Banks Federation has held its third meeting of the year to review progress on its top priorities in the coming year and to approve 2016 budget. Among the items considered at the meeting was progress on the creation of a higher Sharia board by the central bank to oversee the future development and coordination of the Islamic banking sector in the country. The board was also advised on the implementation of Basel III requirements by UAE banks, which aim to strengthen the regulation, supervision and risk management of the banking industry. The 2016 work programme was also presented to the board with key items including the finalisation of UAE's central bank regulation governing digital payments, the launch of commercial borrowers' credit reports by AECB, the introduction of the draft insolvency law and approval of procedures for netting between banks.